All right, let's go ahead and talk about David Haye versus Tyson Fury. A lot of people are excited about this fight. I think this is a really good fight. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it for a little bit. Tell you who I think's gonna come out with the W. All right, we got David Haye coming off of that win versus Derek Chisora. That was a solid win for David Haye, um, in which he really beat down Derek Chisora, man. He really showed his power and his speed. That's what David Haye has, power and speed. He's really athletic, and he relies on that athleticism. Tyson Fury coming off of that win versus Steve Cunningham. He was able to dominate that fight. Um, you know, but Tyson Fury's resume isn't the best resume out there. He also has a win over Derek Chisora, but people make the argument that it wasn't that much of an impressive win. Derek Chisora was kind of out of shape, and he wasn't really the Derek Chisora that we know now. So a lot of people will debate that. Here's what we do know, and that's a fact. Tyson Fury is 6'9" and has an 85-inch reach. David Haye is 6'3", has a 78-inch reach. Okay? Let's talk about this fight, man. The power advantage obviously goes to David Haye. It's not even up for discussion. This guy's got that type of power that can end a fight at any minute. Okay? And to his credit, he also knows how to set up those power shots. Um, he doesn't always do the best job setting them up, but sometimes he is able to catch you in there and really trap you and hit you with one of those haymakers. On the other hand, you have Tyson Fury, and a lot of people are down on Tyson Fury, but one thing I'll give Tyson Fury is he knows how to use his strengths. Okay, when he gets in the ring, he's not trying to be something that he's not. He understands what he is. And Tyson knows what he is. He's a tall fighter. He's got a good reach. And he's a guy who's gonna stand at a distance and try to pop shot you all day. That's pretty much what he's gonna do. It doesn't make for the most exciting fights, but it's smart, and that's what he does to win. You know, so he really uses what he has in there. Guy's 6'9", like I said, 6'8", 6'9". So heck, you got to use what you have in that ring. This is not a guy who's gonna try to get into a street fight with David Haye. He's not gonna pull a Derek Chisora, he glassed me. We're not looking at that kind of situation where this guy's trying to get into it with David Haye like that. He's gonna get in the ring, and from the opening bell, he's gonna be dancing around and throwing jabs. Okay, and David Haye's gonna have to know how to deal with that. Okay, I'm sure Tyson Fury right now is studying the Vladimir Klitschko fight. He's studying that, and he's gonna try to execute that game plan to a T. The only problem that he has is, heck, he's not Vladimir Klitschko. So this is where we're at. This is why this fight becomes interesting, because we've seen David Haye get outclassed by Vladimir Klitschko, and if Fury can implement that game plan, um, you know, he can really, maybe get a unanimous decision against David Haye. On the other side of the spectrum, you got David Haye, who's got a huge speed advantage on Tyson Fury, and the athleticism. And there's still a lot of questions out about Tyson Fury. A lot of people question the opposition that he's fought, and a lot of people feel like David Haye has the right style to really give him a lot of issues, and I would agree with that. I think David Haye does have the right style to give him a lot of issues. I do think this is going to be a closer fight than people think. I think people are hearing about how good David Haye looks in training and how he's, dropping his sparring partners, and he's doing all this stuff. This is typical David Haye. You got to remember. It is what it is. This is the same thing we were hearing before David Haye fought Vladimir. So, that's why people thought he had a chance in that fight. I'm not going to sit there and buy into, what's going on in sparring. That has absolutely nothing to do with what happens on that night. What you got to understand is you could have the perfect game plan, the perfect sparring partners, which usually is definitely not the case. Usually, it's almost impossible to find someone to completely mimic someone else's style, because at the end of the day, you can't mimic power. You can't. There's just certain attributes you can't mimic. You can't mimic speed. Just because you could stand in the same stance as someone doesn't mean you're the same fighter. Well, I mean, but to Haye's credit, I mean, heck, he has some good sparring partners. But you never know what's gonna happen on that day and what adjustments that fighter has to make in that ring. You know, what happens when you end up like Lucas Matisse and you got a swollen eye? Okay, it's a totally different fight. So like I said, you just can't account for that kind of stuff in sparring. So at the end of the day, that type of stuff shouldn't go into predicting a fight. Okay, but I do believe David Haye has the tools to win this fight. And at the end of the day, we just have more to go off with David Haye. He's got the better history. And I mean, the jury is just still out on Tyson Fury. Like I said, we're gonna walk away from this fight learning a whole lot about these two guys, and that's why I like this fight. We're gonna find out. Can David Haye beat a fighter who has that kind of reach? And can he come in with a true game plan, fight on the inside, and really take it to Tyson Fury? We're gonna find out how Tyson Fury does against someone who has this kind of power because he's never faced anybody with this kind of power. Period. And then you're talking about a guy who's got good enough speed to also get on the inside. So Tyson finally doesn't have all the advantages in this fight. And to David Haye's credit, he's fought multiple fighters who were taller than him. So he has that kind of experience. So yeah, I'm going with David Haye by a 11th round TKO. I think by then Tyson Fury's conditioning is going to come into play. I mean, this is the type of fight where Tyson Fury needs to come in, at the best weight and in the best condition that he's ever come in for a fight, because he's going in there against a guy who's going to be really fit, man. He's going to be in shape and he's going to really test him. He's going to have to be able to take punishment and be durable. And I think his jab and his ability to keep guys off of him is going to help him early on. But I think as the fight progresses, David Haye is going to find ways to get inside and land big shots, and that's just going to wear Fury down. And his corner is not going to let him take too much punishment in this fight. They're just not. I mean, I know Tyson Fury has so much pride, he's probably not going to want his corner to stop the fight, but they understand that they're not going to let their guy take too much punishment in this fight. If David Haye does win this fight, I think we should go ahead and make David Haye versus Vitaly Klitschko. Why not? People want to talk about the Klitschkos, and the Klitschkos have, like I said before, they've gotten a huge pass for years because there hasn't been people to fight them. Go ahead and fight David Haye if he's the best guy available. I mean, it just is what it is. Make that fight happen if David Haye could beat Tyson Fury. Or if Tyson Fury wins, Vitaly, go ahead and fight Tyson Fury. You need to fight one of these guys before you go out, or we're just going to have to raise our eyebrow about your legacy. I mean, I understand that you're older and all of that, but it just is what it is. Like I said, you guys have been around for years, and beating up on these fat heavyweights. It's about time that we get some good heavyweight fights. If Vitaly does go ahead and retire, then I guess we're just going to have to see David Haye versus Vladimir Klitschko too. So these are my thoughts. What do you guys think of this one? I'm gone. Peace.